Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are all enjoying your lovely weekends. I am super excited because I am back to do another read and reviewed video. As you guys know, this is how I am doing my wrap-ups. 3 more books that I have read this year and 3 more fantastic titles. I really cannot complain about 2019. It has been an amazing reading year so far. As of February 16th, I am loving my reading year. So I have 3 more books to tell you about. All 3 of these are absolutely amazing. So get out your pen, get out your paper, get out your Goodreads, because I know that most of these books will wind up on your TBR. Actually, I think all of them will wind up on your TBR, or you can order them. Pre-order them if they are not out yet from your local independent bookstores. Pre-ordering super duper helps the publisher and the author, so do that if you can. Or have your library pre-order it if you want to go that route. Absolutely, just get this book in your hands. This book, all 3 of these, I promise. The first book that I want to tell you about is the novel The Other Americans by Laila. Lalami. This is out from Pantheon Books on March 29th, 2019, I think. It's either the 29th or the 26th. I apologize if I'm a few days off there. End of March, this amazing novel comes out. This is the advanced reader's copy, so thank you very much to Pantheon Books for sending it to me. But the actual cover is going to look like this. So there you go. Now, the author is pretty well known. Her book, The Moors Account, was a Pulitzer finalist, and I want to say that another one of her books was an Orange Prize shortlisted book. I can't remember. Secret Song was longlisted for the Orange Prize. So this is a collection of, it's not a collection of stories. This is a collection of characters that tell you a single story. The book starts with a family where we have a father and a mother and 2 daughters. The patriarch is killed in a car accident, a hit-and-run car accident, which brings the youngest daughter home. The youngest daughter's name is Nora, I believe. Nora, I was right. You know how I am with names, so I always have to check. Nora returns home after getting a phone call that her father has been killed in a car accident. Now, where is home? Home is the Mojave Desert in sort of southeast California, which is the 29 Palms, Yucca Valley, Landers area. Weirdly enough, I used to work out in that area for about a year, so I was very familiar with the locale. It's a very deserty, deserted. There's a huge military base out there called 29 Palms. Joshua Tree National Forest is out there. The author does an amazing job of painting the Mojave Desert. This book deals with a couple of things. This book deals with Nora returning home to her mother, who has lost her husband, and sort of the relationship that they have. Nora is a musician by trade. She went to school to be a composer. However, she does teach, she's a substitute teacher as she does this. Her mother has always sort of wanted a different life for her. Her sister is a dentist and is married to a dentist and has perfect children and sort of lives the life that the mother wants for the daughter. This book deals with the relationship of all of the dynamics of that family. In addition, we are introduced to some of the people that live in the town that Nora knew when she was younger. There's a young man who has come back from the Iraqi war, and he is now a police officer. He is dealing with his own sense of loss from being involved in that war. He has a friend who suffers from PTSD, which the book handles amazingly. They get into a relationship, which Nora's not actually sure she wants to be in, but it's about the dynamic of friendship turns to relationships. There's all sorts of different points of view, but they are also trying to figure out who and why the person who hit her father, Nora's father, did not stay. So it's got a sort of a mystery. There's a cop that's involved who is just transferred to the area. We get to know about her. We get to know about her family. So it's one of those amazing stories that tells the story from all these different perspectives. They're all distinct. They all become real. And it all comes together. And they also tackle subjects like family, like race, like war and mental health and fidelity and all of that stuff. I raced through this book. I thought all of the characters were fantastic. I thought the story was spellbinding. I loved it. But I love books where it has sort of all these different points of views that are telling you one story. Really, really highly recommend The Other Americans by Laila, Lalami. And this is, again, out from Pantheon Books on March 29th, I think. It's either 29th or 26th. I apologize. But if you're looking for it in the bookstore, it's going to have this cover. So there you go. So love that book, but I needed a little change of pace. So what did I read next? I actually went to a reissue of a fantasy series that's coming out from a very small press, and that is Fire Logic, which actually came out in January. So it's already out, this beautiful book that you can get from Small Beer Press, which is run by Kelly Link, who is an amazing author in her own right. And this book is so good. So this is a fantasy world where we have a group of people who, there are different types of magic. Here we focus on people with fire logic, which is sort of like an intuition. They can sort of figure out what's going to come along. Like the most extreme is sort of like this person who can actually tell the future. Our main character is a woman from a sort of smaller tribe up in the north who is chosen as the person that comes down into the major country to sort of keep the peace between her people and the country. Now, what happens at the very start of this book is that there is the king, or sort of the person in charge, I can't remember his exact title, has died without an heir, and these people from another country that have slowly but surely been emigrating throw a coup and take over, and it sort of destroys the world and its structure. The group of the leading people go into hiding, and it's the story of what happens to the world after that. There's sort of three characters that are thrown together. We have a woman who I said is the woman from this small, horrible things happen to her, but she is there to sort of add credence to the story of, there's a woman who is like, I want to say half giant, I can't quite remember, but she has her own sort of magic, but she is addicted to a drug that has been brought over to the country in order to sort of placate the people. And then we also have a man who leads a group of rebels, but is also dealing with his own thing. There's a lot of queer representation. Our main character is a lesbian. There's a lot of female empowerment. There's so many good women characters in this book, and also some that are just not very nice people, but they're great villains. We have great sort of camaraderie. The world building, you know, I always struggle with fantasy world building that gets too complicated. Did not struggle with that in this book. I was just bought in. I loved everything about it, everything about the world, everything about the story. And I know the second book, I want to say it's Air Logic. Is it Air? No. Earth Logic is coming out next, I want to say. Yes. So I will be dying to get my hands on a copy of that. So Small Bear Press is going to be hearing from me very soon, because I adored this fantasy series. Now, this book is a reissue. Oh, did I tell you the name of the author? Start talking about the book. This is by Laurie J. Marks, and this is a reissue of it, and it is definitely worth your time if you are a fantasy person. If you like fantasy written by women with strong women leads, if you like a world that is interesting and not so complicated that you get lost in it, but you are driven by the first part of this book goes really fast through time to get you to where you need to be so that you are bought in. As I said, loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So this is Fire Logic by Laurie J. Marks. If you cannot find this at your bookstore, I highly recommend just ordering it from Small Beer Press yourself. Support that little publisher so that they can get the money to continue reissuing these if you cannot find it in your own independent bookstore, or have your independent bookstore order a copy, and maybe they'll order an extra copy and put it on the shelves for someone. So again, Fire Logic, Laurie J. Marks. This is actually out now. You can get yourself a copy. Loved, loved, loved it. I actually need to get the second one, because I have been thinking about what happened. The next book actually came out in January. This is the arc. I'm going to buy myself this beautiful book. This was sent to me from FSG. This is Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. The US edition is just absolutely beautiful, and I adored this. So this is like a little fable. This is the story of a young girl whose father is into reenacting different living sort of the life of the people off the land of the Iron Age. She goes there with him and her mother and a professor who is running sort of this experiment and a bunch of students. And this is a story about the relationship between the father, the mother, and the daughter. There's a lot of physical and emotional abuse here, and it's about finding your independence in a world where you are sort of boxed in because there's not a lot to go on. They forage for their food. They have to like cook it on fires. They are always going out and doing stuff. The book starts with sort of this reminiscence of this ritual that is just so, it's just so creepy. So you like start in this place of being just like on edge, and it just goes. You really are rooting for the main character. What is her name? You know, I'm so bad with names, so I apologize that I cannot remember her name. It's told in first person. There's students that sort of give different perspectives. Yeah, the dad is just exactly what you would expect. I adored it. This is my second Sarah Moss book. Title Zone was phenomenal, and if you haven't read it, go read it right now. The Ghost Wall was great. I actually bought all of her other books. As I've said, they're up here, and I need to get to them. And yeah, so love this book. Took me literally 2 hours to read. I just sat down and floomed through it. That is Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. This is out both in the US and the UK, and you can get your hands on it, and I definitely highly recommend it. So all three of these books, all three of them were so good. Highly recommend. As I always say, you guys, put them on your TBR. Make sure that they get there, because I just think you're going to love them too. As always, if you are a return subscriber to my channel, thank you so much. I so appreciate it very, very much. If you are new to my channel, I hope this video is something that you like and you wind up adding these titles to your TBR and you come back for more videos. As always, I wish you guys happy reading. I hope everyone is well, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!